How is everybody this morning? Can we hear me okay? Do I need the mic? I mean, I'll probably hit and miss on the mic, but I like to walk. First thing I want to do is just thank Peers Empowering Peers for this, bringing us all together, right? What an amazing opportunity. I'm super excited and super grateful to be here. But I'm hoping we can be a little interactive today, if that's all right with y'all. Okay, so how many of you might be a little nervous if you were asked to come up and talk for an hour in front of this many people? Well, you know, I'm a little nervous too, but I'm nervous because they only gave me an hour. I mean, these guys, usually I got a couple days and several hours to get my point across. So, you know, I'm kind of a little bit like Alice in Wonderland. I see the white rabbit and I chase it down the hole, but I got enough time, I can bring it full circle. So today, I'm going to try to channel my inner Mad Hatter and try to stay on track. I brought some slides. I got some notes. And I brought a few hats. My inner Mad Hatter. So can we agree that through life, we wear different hats? We wear the hat of a child, right? Move on in our lives, become an adult. We have hats that we wear when we're celebrating holidays, right? Then we have the hats that we wear when we're just having some fun. Okay, there it is. See, got the lights going. What? I like the fun hat. Reminds me that no matter what, fun is important. That one's not going to shut off. We have a thinking hat. We're going to talk about this one a lot today. It's when the wheels are turning, right? And some of us wear multiple hats in one day. At work, come home, put on another hat. Throughout our lives, we wear multiple hats, right? This is a true thing. Some of these hats we outgrow, and that's okay. That shows us that we're leveling up. We're moving on beyond where we were. Some of us wear a resiliency hat every day. Some of us wear recovery hats. We wear so many hats that we oftentimes don't even look inward at who we are and how far we've came. So for me, growing your mindset for success. That's what I'm hoping we can all do today during this talk. Now, I like to get a little goofy, and most of you that know me know that. But I hope that we can be interactive, have a little fun, and move forward with this. So today's talk is, if it works, oh, no, how do we get there? Oh, that's why that's up there. See that? I get a little off track. I was going to go down a different rabbit hole there, right there. No, see, I look out over this amount of people and I think, man, there's almost more people here than the small town I grew up in. I grew up in such a small town, we hung mirrors at the either end of Main Street, try to make it look a little bigger. Some cool things happened in our town, though. John Wayne came and filmed the movie there. McHugh, as a kid, I got to follow him around, pick up his cigar butts. We had a whole bunch of those, but lost them all now. Wish I still had a couple of those. My grandma got a picture with John Wayne, and that's her there. It was a fun thing. But this thing isn't cooperating with me. Most of you that know me probably know me as a pretty positive, upbeat, and optimistic person. You know, I'm the kind of guy who goes after Moby Dick in a rowboat and takes tartar sauce with me. I'd take my last $2, buy a money belt, because I know I'm going to have more. But I get a little frustrated when people say, oh, man, you're one of them positive thinking people, aren't you? You positive thinking people think just by thinking it, you can do anything. That's just not true. Positive thinking won't let you do anything, but it will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. And today we're going to try to talk about leadership, if I can get this thing to cooperate with me. Little technical problems.
Just trying to make the screen show a little bit better, you guys. We'll turn them back on in a little while.
So today's talk is leadership is not a position, it's a decision. So good morning, leaders. How are we? Having a little fun today? So let me say something right from the start. Leadership is not a position, it is a decision. It's not the title on your badge. It's not your office size. It's not how many people report to you. Leadership is the decision you make when no one is watching. Now, I've worked with fathers fighting to rebuild relationships. I've worked with youth in the justice system searching for identity. And I've worked inside systems where policy shapes lives. And here's what I've learned. The moment someone decides to take responsibility for the environment they create, that is the moment that leadership begins. Leadership is a mindset. Leadership is ownership. Leadership is influence rooted in integrity. You don't wait to be appointed a leader. You decide to become one. Every room you walk into, you set the temperature. Every conversation you enter, you shift the culture. Every challenge you face, you model resiliency. So today is not just a conference. Today is a decision point. So I got a couple questions for you. How many of you believe there is something you could do in the next 6 weeks to make your personal, your professional, or your financial life worse? Can I get you to raise your hands? Yeah, there is always something we could do to make it worse. How about, is there something you could do in the next 6 weeks that might make your personal, your professional, or your financial life a little better? How many of you believe that every choice you make has an outcome or a consequence? How many of you believe that that choice is yours? You just told me that there's something you can do in the next 6 weeks to make your life better, worse, and that the choice is yours. That's the first step to leadership. That's the first step to taking responsibility and accountability for your life. That is where it begins. That is the space of true leadership, looking inside ourselves. You see, as long as we're placing blame and pointing fingers, we got 3 times that many coming back at us. As long as we're placing that blame, we're in victim mode. And as long as we're in that victim mode, things won't change. To truly change, we got to break the habit of being ourselves. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. It's a lot. 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. So would you agree that the same thoughts would lead to the same choices? The same choices would lead to the same outcomes. The same outcomes would lead to the same emotions, and those same emotions would drive the very same thoughts. You see, how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So if you get up in the morning, shut the alarm clock off with the same finger, roll out of bed on the same side, shuffle into the bathroom, use the bathroom like you always do, go out, drink coffee or tea out of your favorite mug, get in the shower, wash yourself off in the same routine way, then get dressed, eat your breakfast, drive to work on the same route, experiencing the same traffic, get to work, see the same people who push the same emotional buttons, then hurry up and drive home and check your emails and Twitter and Facebook or Instagram, eat dinner, maybe even doom scroll. Few of us do that. Eat your dinner, hurry up and go to bed. Here's my question. Did your mind change at all that day? We could say you were doing the same thing, seeing the same people at the same time, and secretly expecting your life to change. I think it was Einstein that says if you do the same thing in the same way and expect a different outcome, that's the definition of insanity. To truly change, we really got to look at our subconscious thoughts, who we are on the inside. We got to identify our automatic actions, reactions, and behaviors. We have to break that habit of being ourselves. Kind of interesting. It's kind of like a cycle, right? Any of you ever have thoughts that keep you up at night? I do. I have thoughts that keep me up, get me thinking, get those wheels turning, churning. I have thoughts like, if we can't see air, can a fish see water? If a fly loses its wings, should we call it a walk? How does a sponge hold water when it's full of holes? Why do we drive on a parkway and park in a driveway? These things just get my mind going, can't sleep, got it racing. But there's this one thought that really kept me up at night. And it was that you can change your past, your present, and your future all in one moment. How many of you believe that? Have you heard that before? This was one that really messed with me because I'm thinking, all right, past, present, future, all in one moment. Past has already happened. Future ain't here yet. All I got's this eternal now. How can a decision that I make right now affect my past, my present, and my future? Didn't make sense to me. I'm thinking that's some kind of quantum physics stuff. It's got to be. Well, I was fortunate to have a great mentor, and he was a super wise man. And his name was Carl. And I asked him one day, I said, Carl, you ever heard you can change your past, your present, and your future all in one moment? He says, of course, it's simple. How is that simple? Past has happened, or future ain't here yet. All I got's this present. He goes, think about this, Ray. We've been working together for a long time. As long as you see your past as trauma, hardship, struggle, you're never going to see the strength, the confidence, the courage, the resourcefulness that it took for you to get here with me today. You're 100% successful at overcoming everything that's been put before you to this moment. If you can take that strength, courage, and resourcefulness and bring it into right now, you're going to set your future goals a lot higher. You're going to carry that confidence in there and know that this is achievable. Because if you could do that, this ain't nothing but another step. Another step. That's it. You're right, that sounds pretty simple. But it's actually true. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. Matter of fact, let's take golf. Now, I don't know how many people in here play golf, but let's look at the game of golf. Let me catch up here for a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, look at that. No matter what we do in life, we should always have fun. Remember the fun hat? I like my fun hat. I love having fun. That's me having fun. Somebody told me once blondes had more fun. So I borrowed my mom's wig. Put it on. Dudes, like, totally, man. I'm so happy we're here sharing our time right now. Righteous. No. But truly, no matter what path we're on, who we are, or where we are, we always want to have fun. And remember, we should be having fun. It shouldn't be a drag. If it is, maybe we want to look inward on our decision making. But let's go back to golf. Sorry about that. I get a little goofy. I do that goofiness because it lifts my spirit. It reminds me what kind of day I'm going to have. I can remind myself. I play a little hello game. Anytime somebody makes eye contact with me, I'm, hey, how you doing? Oh, don't ask me how I am. They'll come back at you with, well, you know, I'm kind of struggling today. I'm stuck somewhere between incredible and stupendous. I'm bouncing around, can't seem to land on one, but I'm hoping for better. They're like, what the heck is wrong with him? Or they're like, how do I get some of that? Right? We can remind ourselves what kind of day we're going to have every single day. It's important because we are the only constant in our life. Out of everything that's happened, out of everything that's been done, we were there. It's simple, right? Simple's not always easy. If you've played golf, in theory, it's a very simple game. Think about it. Ball just lays there. Take your time. It's not running away. It's not fighting back. You're not dribbling a ball down the court, putting up a shot, and some guy blocks it into the stands. You're not fading back for a pass with 10 other players and a 200-pound guy coming to tackle you. Just lays there. You got a club. You got a target. You hit it from point A to point B, ultimately into this tiny little cup. But just like life, they don't tell you about the sand traps, the water hazards, that uneven terrain, or them dang trees that jump right in front of your ball when they're not supposed to. And they definitely don't tell you how hard it is to hit that little ball into that little cup when you finally make it to the green. As you can tell, I'm not a very good golfer. I find it very frustrating. But in theory, the game is simple. Life's similar to that. They tell you, be consistent, work hard, be disciplined, stay focused. Simple, right? But what they don't tell you about is the adversity, the trauma, the grief, the systems, the setbacks, the loss. Those are the water hazards. Those are the sand traps. Those are those unexpected winds that blow your life off course. But even like in the game of golf, you don't play the whole course at once. You play one shot at a time. Just the next right shot. You don't stand on the first tee worrying about the 18th hole. You just take your time and do the next right shot. And as long as you do that, you complete the course. Life's very similar. We have these barriers. We have these outcomes. We have all these things that we're supposed to overcome. We just got to take the next step, the next shot, the next try one more time. Because we don't really fail until we quit, do we? You see, progress is simple. But simple's not always comfortable, is it? But when you focus on that next right step, you will finish the course. You will make it around. I want to tell you about a guy that I met along my journey, and he gave me permission to share his story. It's quite an inspirational guy. I truly, truly appreciated supporting him, walking with him, and I got to know him along this journey he was taking and I was taking with him. This young man, he was born to teenage parents back when teenage pregnancy held big stigma. If you were pregnant, you were supposed to get married. Now, his parents loved him, but they didn't have the tools to parent the way they wanted. Love, yes. Tools, no. This young man grew up in domestic violence. He grew up in alcoholism. He grew up in drug addiction, a lot of transition. This young man transferred schools 12 times in his 4 years of high school. At the time, he said, you know, I don't belong anywhere. I just don't seem to fit in. I'm sure a lot of us have felt that way at one time or another. What he didn't realize is that he wasn't meant to fit in. He was meant to stand out. Every move was teaching him something, how to adapt, Every classroom was teaching him cultural awareness. Everything he did was giving him a new tool to navigate the rest of his life. What seemed like separation was actually preparation. Sometimes what feels like disconnection is really getting you connected to where you need to be. Well, that young man, he grew up, got a job, started a family, and even got a leadership role at work. But you can have leadership without healing. Then life stepped in. His wife passed away. His son passed away. You see, grief teaches you what leadership books never can. Then came a terminal diagnosis. 2 to 4 years to live. ICU rooms, surgeries, machines, silence. When he was released, he'd lost his house, his kid, his cars, his job, was handed a bag of pills and said, we don't know if it's 2 years or 4 years, but you're going to pass away. You might want to get your affairs in order. And this man believed him for a long time and lived in that space. You see, when someone tells you your life has an expiration date, your priorities change. Then came addiction, homelessness, in and out of trouble in jail, and then his pivot point. Child Protective Services case. Stepped in. Threatened to put his youngest daughter into the foster care system. He'd been a father figure in 11 children's lives to that moment. He wasn't about to lose his youngest to the system. That's when he became present and engaged. That's when I got to know him. He was focused on his next right step. Failure was no longer an option, became his mantra. And he started seeking education, support, resources, mentorship. Let me see if I'm still up to date with where I'm supposed to be on the screen. We're close, you all. You see, here's what he learned. Adversity will either define you or refine you. You see, this story is mine. This story is about me. But I didn't get to know me until I found my pivot point. Because I was in a reactive space of life did this circumstance happened, that's why I'm there. I was in that victim mode, pointing my fingers, blaming others. But my story, mine's one of success. When we don't look deeper within ourselves, the ones that lose are the children. We can change trauma into triumph. I love that phrase, trauma into triumph. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about my youngest daughter today, or at least mention her a few times. Pretty proud of her. And you're going to get that as I move along in this. But I'd like to tell a story about my oldest daughter. You see that wife that passed away? That was her mom. And she was 16 years old at the time. Now, my wife passed away at a very young age. So we didn't have a will. We didn't go through any adoption processes. And that system, the foster care system, stepped in and sent her back to her dad, who she hadn't lived with in 8 years. She didn't want to be there. She ran away from home, started hanging around the wrong crowd, making the wrong decisions, found herself pregnant and addicted. And when the child was born, it tested positive for drugs. And that system, that foster care system, stepped in and took that child, my granddaughter, and put her in foster care. Now, my daughter could have stayed in dependency, despair, or trauma, but she chose that moment to be her pivot point. She found that education. She found those resources. She found that kind of mentorship. And she got a job. And 11 years later, she was the first woman in the state of Oregon to readopt her own child from the system that took it away from her. I got my granddaughter back. One voice can change a system. We can change trauma into triumph. We don't actually fail until we quit. It's our choice to look deeper and see the possibility. How far can I go? Oh my gosh, what's my next step? Get excited about that. I'd like to introduce you to the man I am today, and this is when I really need my notes because it even surprises me. And this is just a few of the things. The ones that are kind of standouts, because I've done a lot. And I keep growing and moving forward. It's fun. I'm having a blast with what I get to do. All right, so the man I am today, I successfully completed that CPS case, turned that CPS case into father advocacy. Yes, I got custody of my daughter. We completed 16 programs, some together and some individually. I'm the first graduate of community court at Grace Harbor. I'm a certified peer support specialist. My daughter and I were selected to represent our county at the statewide WISE Symposium in Kennewick, Washington. I'm the regional convener coordinator for the 5-county Great Rivers region for the Family Youth System Partner Roundtable program, and I attend state meetings. My daughter became a youth tri-lead for that Family Youth System Partner Roundtable program, and at the time, she was the youngest tri-lead in the state of Washington. I'm part of the Fatherhood Council. I'm a basic mediator for the Dispute Resolution Center through Resolution Washington. $100 on my eyes, and now my mouth won't work. Anyway, so through Resolution Washington, I'm on the SUD Certification Advisory Committee for the Department of Health. I'm a trainer for this Washington State Certified Peer Support Specialist 80-hour curriculum and their crisis and communication and peer support programs. I'm an SUD family navigator, and I've opened a business called Growing Your Mindset Gym LLC, where I facilitate a class called Unlocking Your Potential. This class helps participants build self-esteem, self-image, self-awareness, self-confidence. Why is it important? Set goals and actually achieve them. And what it means to be a good communicator. Actually, I'm certified to teach a total of 8 different classes. My daughter and I are one of 2 families featured in the Dependency 101 video for family education and support services for people coming into CPS cases. I've done podcasts, interviews, and received 5 awards in 3 years from the state of Washington. But out of all the things I've done on this journey, the ones I'm most proud of are the relationships I've rebuilt with my family and especially with my kiddos. Watching my youngest find her voice. You see, if I'd have stayed in that dependency, despair, or trauma, none of this would have been possible. You know, setting a good example for her and the ability to be proud of myself again is powerful. Showing her what a healthy relationship looks like, watching her find her voice. She speaks out against bullying in support of the LGBTQ community, and she brings awareness to the needs of our youth in our community and volunteers in public support events. A few things I'd like to add is I was 50 years old when this started. And though my life hasn't changed overnight, it has gotten extremely better. And I'm loving what I get to do. It is a wonderful space that I get to share with my friends, my family, and others. The tools I've gained, I do share. People say knowledge is power. Knowledge is just information unless we apply it and share it with others. It's just something we know. My daughter's now 18 in the regional 5-county tri-lead for the Family Youth System Partner Roundtable program that helps family and youth and system partners come together and helping them find their voice and choice in changing the behavioral health system. She worked on the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction Suicide Prevention and Safety Planning Committee as the youth state lead. As you can tell, I'm very proud of her. But had I stayed in that space, this would never have been possible. Now, my journey started at 50. She's 18 and doing all these things. Can you imagine how many people she's going to impact by the time she's 50? Talk about a ripple effect. Talk about breaking a generational cycle. We have that within us. The opportunity's always there if we choose to look for it. You see, the hardest thing I ever did wasn't getting up here in front of you guys. The hardest thing I ever did was believing I could. I had to look inward to find the strength to do that. You see, every person in this room has a gift. The thing we do the very best with the least amount of effort that gives us the most satisfaction. Identify that gift. Follow that gift. And that gift will make room for you. Some of you solve problems naturally. Some of you bring calm into chaos. Some of you just connect people. Some of you build systems. And some of you simply see what others miss. That gift is not accidental. That gift is intentional. And when you identify that gift and follow that gift does make room for you. You don't have to force your way into rooms. When you operate in your gift, the right rooms open. If you'd have told me this when my journey started, that I'd be here right now, I'd have told you you were freaking crazy. Ain't no dang way. You see, I wasn't in a place to see myself as who I could become. I needed to love myself again. And for some of us, that's the hardest leadership work there is. I mean, because let's be honest, we can lead teams, we can show up strong, we can fight battles, but loving ourselves, that's a little different, isn't it? Well, like I say, knowledge isn't power unless you apply it and share it. So there's this thing when I was learning to love myself again that I found. And it's from a poet named Adam Roa. And the poem is based on this theory that your ability to love others is limited only by your ability to love yourself. And you can find this poem on YouTube. I got to represent the poem a little bit. / Adam Roa. And it's called, You Are Who You've Been Looking For. So I got a poem. Want to hear it? Here it goes. You are who you've been looking for. So stop looking for more unless you're looking in a mirror, because it's time for you to start seeing clearly that you are who you've been looking for. And that empty feeling, that hole in your chest, you only got that feeling because you think you're not blessed with everything you need. You see, we live in this consumerist society, which means they need you to buy stuff. And the easiest way to sell it is to tell you that you are not enough. Buy this car, you'll get girls. Buy this bra, you'll get guys. And we're hearing it so much that we start believing these lies. But the truth is, the makeup they're selling to make you feel prettier is the same makeup you buy to stop feeling shittier about this lie they keep telling you that you are not enough. And what about the movies we watch? All the shows on TV. The more I watch, the more I see I need you to complete me. And yes, love is the answer and love is the key, but if you can't love yourself, how could you ever love me? And loving yourself, what does that even mean? Like massages and selfies and that sort of thing? Because the more I think about it, the more it feels weird. I've always been taught that self-love was something to be feared. I've been taught arrogance, it's bad, and vanity, it's not good, and even my bracelets are telling me to act how Jesus would. So what should I do? How should I act? I'm supposed to love myself, but how do I even do that? Well, I got this trick that I picked up from a friend who noticed that I was quick to defend her when she would say something negative about herself. She would say, I'm so dumb, and I'd say, you're so brilliant. She'd say, I'm so weak, and I'd say, you're so resilient. And when she said, I feel ugly, and I said, you look beautiful, she asked me why. I was so dutifully filling up her cup constantly, yet treating my own cup so irresponsibly. Because when I looked in the mirror, my voice was quite clear. You're ugly, you're too thin, your hairline's receding, you got a pimple on your chin. And that was when she gave me a piece of advice that changed my life. She gave me a hug, and she said, treat yourself like someone you love. Treat yourself like someone you love. Now, I'd been standing, but I needed to be sitting because I couldn't believe that I'd been letting myself keep forgetting that I was who I've been looking for. And deep in my core, I knew it was time to stop looking for more until I could look through all my fear and look into a mirror and see clearly that man looking back at me is the only one who can make me happy. And I am already enough. Now, I am not any more special or unique than you. That is why I'm here to speak to you. You are already enough. And when you start to see that, you will start to be that. Your world will get brighter, your load will get lighter, and you can see with life, you can be a lover and not a fighter. In that life, you deserve it because you are worth it. And there is no point in letting yourself keep forgetting because no matter what you say or do, you are perfect. So today, I hope I leave you with a direction correction away from the flaws you see in your reflection. They aren't flaws to me. They are simply protection of all the doubts you have of your perfection. So start today. Take a good, long look in the mirror and say, I am who I've been looking for. You see, that's where leadership for me began. Because when you lead from truth, when you lead from clarity, wholeness, and strength, not fear, that's leadership. Now, people ask me, how did I even do that? Well, for me, I found a mentor. I found resources. I found education. I started paying attention to my self-talk. Because the three most powerful words in the human language the two most powerful words in the human language are only three letters. I am. Because whatever you say after that is programming your subconscious mind. Anybody here ever said, oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, no, I'm a freaking rock star. I love this stuff. I don't need none of that. Because if I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, who's going to believe that I am, right? Well, in the beginning, I mentioned I had to pretend to be that person till I became that person or he became me. Well, this is where I started planting the seeds of growth. Kind of like the story of the bamboo tree. Have you heard that? Well, I'm going to share it with you. The story of the bamboo tree goes like this. They cultivate the land, they plant the seeds, they water, they fertilize, and in the first year, nothing happens. Next year, water, fertilize, still nothing happens. Third year, water, fertilize, nothing. Fourth year, water, fertilize, nothing. But some point in that fifth year, that bamboo tree grows 60 to 85 feet in 6 weeks. So here's my question. Did it take 5 years or did it take 6 weeks? I'll help you with the easy ones. It took 5 years. Because had they not watered, fertilized, and stayed consistent in that time frame, that bamboo tree would not have had the foundation, the root system, to support the growth of 60 to 85 feet that fast. You see, a mentor is so important where we go in life. Let's talk about Michael Jordan. Anybody here heard of Michael Jordan? You know he was cut from his high school basketball team, told he wasn't good enough. But Michael Jordan, he was committed to be a basketball player. And for many people, the greatest basketball player ever to play the game. He won 6 championships, 6 rings, a three-peat and a three-peat. And he retired somewhere in the middle too. Came back. Or what about Muhammad Ali? Back in the Vietnam War, stood on his principles and his morals and was stripped of his belt. Muhammad Ali won 3 boxing championships. He never won one without Angelo Dundee, and Michael Jordan never won one of his championships without Phil Jackson. When you find that mentor, that's when you move forward so much easier. You see, we can't do it all on our own. There's somebody out there that's done it before. Matter of fact, I spend a lot of my time at YouTube University in my car. I turn it on, I'm listening to that podcast. I've got that mindfulness going. Maybe some of you see me out here walking around this morning. I set myself up. I make sure that I know the direction I'm going for the day, and I trust myself now enough that I follow my instincts. You see, it really does come down to whether you're interested or you are committed. Because if you're interested, you're going to say, I'm not feeling it today. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. Oh, we can do that next week. But if you're committed, failure is no longer an option. You're going to do whatever it takes. And when you find that commitment, you will find growth, purpose, perspective, and you will be able to achieve anything that you set your minds to. I like to think of it as we're not just humans being, we're actually humans becoming. Because are you focused on the human you're being, or are you focused on the human you're becoming? Language matters. It matters in our minds, it matters in our hearts, it matters in a lot of the things that we do. What if I had a blueprint for success? Would you follow it? Would you believe it? Well, that's a question you must ask yourself, and only you know the answer. So we had a little activity earlier, and we were talking about leadership qualities. And you all put a bunch of great words up there. But when we look at those words, and we're going to look at a few of these words here in a minute, because tying this all together, bringing it all together here. When we look at these words, are those words attitudes? An attitude, mindset, feeling, disposition that influences how a person acts. That's the attitude. That's what you bring to the table. A skill is a learned ability to perform a specific task. You can be taught a skill. What kind of attitude are you bringing into the room, into your role, into your space? So I was thinking, I think we can come up with between 20 and 25 words. So guess what? I got 23 up here. See that I did that right between 20 and 25? Never mind. All right, I do get a little goofy sometimes. So can we agree that approachable, empowering, empathetic, caring, accountable, responsible, trusting, a communicator, attentive, visionary, optimistic, positive mental attitude, supportive, adaptive, flexible, transparent, authentic, decisive, confident, trustworthy, inspirational, respectful, motivating, honest, and supporting would make a good leader, good partner, a good partner, good supervisor, good anything, right? Let's look at these words one more time. Approachable, is that a skill or an attitude? Skill. You can be taught to be approachable? Or you think they both got a little of both in there? Okay. So if you guys believe it's both, say both. If you believe it's attitude, say attitude. If you think it's a skill, say skill. We good with this? All right. Little interaction. See, I told you I was going to get interactive. Said I would. All right. Empowering. Attitude. Both. All right. Empathetic. Remember, attitude is how you feel and what you bring. A skill is what somebody else teaches you. So, caring, Attitude, accountable. Can you be taught to be accountable? That's what you bring, isn't it? Think about this. Attitude is what you bring. Skill is what somebody else is going to teach you. How about trusting? It's an attitude. Communicator. That one's a little of both, isn't it? Yeah. Because I wasn't a good communicator at one time in my life. That's kind of a skill for me. Something I had to learn. How about attentive? Visionary. Little both. You can be taught to be a visionary. I'm not going to argue with y'all. This is your perspective. What about optimistic? You know, positive mental attitude. I'm helping you with the easy ones. Supportive. Okay, both. How about adaptive? Flexible. Transparent. A little bit of both, maybe. You can learn to be that, right? Because there's a lot of times I wasn't transparent in my life. Decisive. Attitude. Yeah, that's what you choose to decide, right? Confident. Trustworthy. Inspirational. Respectful. Motivating. Yeah. Honest. And supportive. So, would you agree these are great qualities? I'm thinking that like three quarters of them, or maybe even more, were straight attitudes. Do you believe that your attitude might have something to do with the altitude that you go in life? We can be taught a skill, but if we bring this kind of an attitude into a workspace, that supervisor, that person that's above you, that hires you, the employer, they'd be like, you bring me that kind of guy, I'll teach him how to run the widget that makes a what's it. It's truth. This is something we bring. This is who we are and what we consider leadership qualities. Do they live within us? Now we're here to talk about leadership, not success. Or are they the same thing? For me, the definition of success is competing and comparing with your own best self, moving toward your worthwhile, predetermined goals. Comparing with your own best self. You see, every minute we use comparing ourselves to someone else is a minute wasted. Yes, it's about us, how we see ourselves, right? Just like expectations. Expectations, we should hold them high for ourselves. But if we hold an expectation for anyone else, we can expect to be let down, huh? Yes. This kind of focuses in on self a little bit, isn't it? I mean, isn't it kind of crazy how much we actually control who we are and what we do? I was once asked to define leadership. And the definition that stuck out most for me came from a man named Joe Black. And Joe Black simply said, a leader is anyone who chooses to set a good example for others to follow. That's it. According to this definition, anyone can be a leader. Think about someone you admire, someone you love, someone you respect. Using this definition, isn't that person a leader? You know, Webster's dictionary has a half a page defining lead and leader, but they don't have this one. You can hold a high office and not be a leader. You can be president of a company and not be a leader. You can be chairman of the board, high government office, be on television, and still not be a leader. You can choose today to set that example. And if you choose to be a leader, you've chosen to be a hero too. Not the loud hero, not the cape-wearing hero, but the kind that changes lives quietly, the kind that transforms families, the kind that strengthens communities. And that choice is yours every single day. You see, when this journey started, I had an image of who I was, my self-image. that was in direct reflection of my past. You know, I was still carrying all that baggage from back then. That shame, that regret, that embarrassment. It just seemed to tag along with me. I had to learn to leave my past in the past. So how do we even improve that? Anybody ever think, how can I improve that? Well, I got a couple things that I used along my journey, and it was keeping the promises that we make to ourselves was a great place to start. Doing the things we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do them. This helps reprogram our subconscious mind that we are capable and able. Pay attention to our self-talk. How many times do we say, I can't, I have to, I got to, instead of, I haven't learned to yet, or I want to. Yes. You don't have to, we get to. You had to go through it to get to do it. How many of you would agree with that? We're living, walking, eating, breathing examples of that. We're 100% successful at overcoming everything. We went through it, and now we get to do it to help others not have to navigate that. Yes. Pay attention to our self-talk is super important. Work on our communication skills. You want to be interesting? Be interested. When you talk to someone about him or herself, the conversation will go on for hours. It's part of being a good communicator. So we want to work on those communication skills and never count your worth on someone else's fingers. Celebrate your wins like you'd celebrate a sports team. Anybody here like the Seahawks or the Mariners? Man, when they up there, people are yelling and screaming at the TV. How many times have you yelled and screamed and cheered yourself on? Celebrate within you and be comfortable in the person that you're becoming. Let's not focus on who we're being. Let's focus on who we're becoming. Now, isn't self-image the same as self-esteem? Self-image is what you believe to be true about yourself. A controlling picture that limits your performance. You will constantly perform within this picture. Self-esteem, on the other hand, is an emotion, a feeling. Self-esteem is your deep down, underneath the skin feeling of worth. The degree that you like and respect yourself in spite of your mistakes, frailties, and shortcomings. Knowing that you're worthy of happiness and capable of meeting life's challenges. Let's imagine a boat. The wake looks powerful. It seems big, loud. That wake does not power the boat. The motor does. The wake is your past. The motor is your mindset. Grow the mindset, you strengthen the motor. Would you agree? That's why I opened up growing your mindset. Huh? Play on words? I don't think so, because that's what I've had to do my whole life. So there's this biggest lie that I was told through my journey, through my childhood, and I still hear it to this day when I'm trying to improve whatever it is I'm moving toward. And that biggest lie is that it's not that easy. For me, growth and change wasn't difficult. All I did is take another step, another class, another thing, another one. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, I've gone a long ways. That's why I needed notes to do my introduction, because I can't even believe how far and how easy it's been. It's not that easy. That is the biggest lie I was ever told. You see, it was just the next right step. And as I took those steps, things started to come into view. A purpose, a vision, a dream. And the more steps I take, the clearer that vision, that dream becomes. But if you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. How many times have we gone to friends or family and said, you know, here's my dream, here's my vision. They said, yeah, right, how are you going to do that? Nobody in your family's ever done that. What makes you think? Anybody ever hear that before? They don't say that to be mean. They say that because they can't see your dream. They can't see your vision. It wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Now remember, everyone in this room has a gift. The thing that they do the very best with the least amount of effort that gives them the most satisfaction. Identify it, follow it, and that gift will make room for you. Now, you told me you could change your life in 6 weeks. You told me the choice is yours. So here's what I leave you with. Strengthen the motor. Grow the mindset. One swing at a time, one step at a time. And leadership is not a position, it's a decision. A decision to do the inner work, rewrite the self-image, invest in self-education, seek mentorship, build support, set the example. And if leadership is simply choosing to set a positive example for others to follow, every single person in this room has that opportunity. Not someday, not when you get promoted, not when life gets easier, but today. Because you can't leave footprints in the sands of time by sitting on your butt. And who wants to leave butt prints in the sands of time? I mean, really. So now go be the leader that I know you are with your family, with your community, and throughout the rest of your life, telling yourself, I am who I've been looking for. I belong here, now, in this moment. And for me, that's what defines success, because when you get there, you believe in you. And in the words of Les Brown, when you're setting a goal, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you're going to end up amongst the stars. I want to thank you for allowing me to come share my ongoing story with you here today. My name's Ray Gregson. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and conference. Gratitude. Attitude of gratitude. Thank you.